clearly you're a business owner. Do you need help with your social media and email? If God has given you a business on this side of heaven, He fully expects you to steward that business well. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. We're going to talk today about email opt-ins and how to use email opt-ins to drive sales of your product, your service, etc. So I want to talk just really quick at the beginning about what an opt-in is, so that those of you who are like, and I'm out on this podcast, like stick around, because if you are in business, you need to have an opt-in. So some people call an opt-in a freebie. Some people call it a freemium. Let's see, what else do they call it? Let's see. It's a way to gather emails. That's the bottom line, is it's a way to gather emails. There's other, I'm trying to think of a lead magnet. There's people call it a lead magnet. And so any of those things are like another title for it. Here's basically what an opt-in is. You're going to give people something and they're going to give you their email address. That's the exchange. And hopefully you guys have followed me for long enough now that you understand how important email addresses are. I mean, if social media goes by the wayside and Mark Zuckerberg wakes up tomorrow and decides that he's done with the Facebook and, and Meta in general, and Facebook and Instagram go away, I mean, you're just on rented ground on social media. You have to abide by their rules. They own it. They can make the decisions for change at any time, et cetera. But with an email list, it's more in your control. It's something that you own. You have access to. The majority of the time, you get to make your own rules within reason. And so you want to have an email list. Okay. So you're going to give people something. They're going to give you their email address, and that's the exchange. Here at Team Allwood, we probably have at least 15 opt-ins right now, everything ranging, because there's a huge variety of like a video series on how to buy your first short-term rental, since that's a revenue stream that Jason and I have expanded into in the last couple of years. We have one that's like our top 50 email titles, and that's like, a list of things. We have a quiz on what kind of a coach, or how to know if you'd make a good business coach. We have another one on should you coach or consult, buy a membership or a course or one-on-one. And so we have a huge variety. Now, if we had a product, which we do not, but like Mr. Magic, my husband, Jason, they're getting ready to launch Fairway Finest. They will have, that's his golf apparel brand, by the way. You can find them on Instagram. A selfish plug there for him. But they will have a coupon, so that, when you go to fairwayfinest.com and you're on that page, there will be a box that pops up and says, hey, would you like to get, 10% or 15% or, 1,000,000%, whatever it is, off of your first order, put in your email here. So then the next time they have a new, wave of shirts that they're releasing, they will send that out to their email list first. And a lot of times people use their email list before they even announce things on social media. So that is what an opt-in is. And you need to have them, again, because, you don't own your social media account, because algorithms change all the time on social media. I mean, how many of you have noticed how, a year ago, reels were all the rage on Instagram, right? They wanted you to make reels, make more reels, dance, point, all of the things, which, by the way, I refuse to do. I have plenty of reels, but I am not dancey pointy. But now the algorithm has changed, and now they are giving, Instagram love back to static photos, carousel posts, etc. So you don't have control. I don't have control over when the algorithm changes. We have to invest in something that we have more control over. And you will forever hear me talk about this. If God has given you a business on this side of heaven, He fully expects you to steward that business well. And part of stewardship means that you're protecting the thing that God has allowed you to build and given you the grace to build. And part of that protection needs to be some way of continuing to do business. Should social media ever start charging? Should social media ever shut down? Should social media, that's really hard to say, by the way. It's like Sally sells seashells at the shore or whatever. But if social media ever like just goes crazy, things change, whatever, you still need some way of communicating with your people, with your buyers, with your clients. And so, you don't own your social media follower. There's no list there. And the truth of the matter is usually email is 4 times more effective in driving sales than social media posts. We have studied this for a long time here at Team Allwood. And, I've got a decent social media following. Okay. So 360 some thousand follow me on Facebook, well over 100,000 on one Instagram account. I've got a couple more Instagram accounts with 20 some thousand on one. And then the 2 short-term accounts. So I have, a decent number there, got a decent Twitter following, 100,000 people on Pinterest. I have, way less on my email list than what I do on social media. But you're able to track using different, like we use something called Hyros. It's a software that basically tracks when people buy. Where did they come from? Was it a Facebook post? Was it an email list, et cetera? And essentially 4 times the amount of people buy from my email list than what they do from my social media. And so if you're someone who has been launching your product, your coaching, your one-on-one consultations on just Facebook and Instagram, and you're not sure why you're not getting the amount of buyers that you want, are you utilizing your email list? That's my question to you. This is why you have to have opt-ins so that you get people onto your email list. And anytime you can get somebody onto your email list, it's hopefully you're giving them something that is going to build the relationship between you and them that will help establish that know, like, and trust factor that is so good at helping people to become clients at some point. And the truth of the matter is a lot of times I will have people come into my coaching and they're like, well, what should I make for an opt-in? I want to make sure, I don't like give away everything, but there has to be almost this like sweet spot of you giving away enough so that people are like, dang, if this is what she gives away for free, I wonder what her paid stuff is like. Okay. So let's talk about what you could make for an opt-in, what you should be using for an opt-in, because there's so many different things. All right. If you sell a physical product, so if you have a clothing boutique, if you sell baby blankets, if you have, a cookie store out of your home, Jason with Fairway Finest Golf Apparel, a coupon code is the easiest. It's the simplest. It's the most effective. It's what people really want. This is why when I walk into Bath and Body Works and I'm, checking out at the counter with their 3-wick candles, don't send me a DM. I love their candles. I'm just trying not to burn candles in general as much anymore because I know they're toxic. But I'm at the checkout and they're asking me, "Can I get an email from you?" They're not asking for an email for any other reason than to continue marketing to you after you purchase those initial things at Bath and Body Works. Does that make sense? They're asking for your email because they want to be able to send you things in the mail, or, like flyers or to your email so they can hopefully get more sales from you. And a lot of times places will say, if I get your email today, I can give you a 10% off coupon. I can give you 20% off today if you want to give me your email. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're giving you a coupon, because a lot of us will be like, yep, you can absolutely have my email for a coupon, right? And so if you have a product that you're selling, make sure you're using a coupon code of some sort, all right? Other ideas. Develop or create an opt-in that solves one part of your client's issues. And hopefully then it will like leave them wanting more from you. So I'm sitting here thinking of our opt-in of our 50 best email title subject lines. We have done really well with this opt-in. We run ads to this on Facebook. And so a lot of times when people get something, they're like, wow, this was really good. Think of it as this. If you were to go to a brand new restaurant and the chef would bring you out some appetizers, and the appetizers are incredible. Now, don't you even more want to order the regular entree, right? And an opt-in needs to do that. It needs to be like something that's good enough so that it solves some problem for them if you're not, doing a physical product, but that it leaves them wanting more, craving that entree from you. All right. I also suggest that a lot of times people pick something that is like a natural bridge to whatever they have that's a paid product. So for instance, we have a quiz that it's like a 25 question quiz, and this is an opt-in. So you take the quiz. I talk about the quiz like on my Instagram bio, on my Facebook bio, etc. You take the quiz and it tells you whether you should do like one-on-one consulting, whether you should make a membership site, or whether you should launch a course. All right. And so when you take the quiz, people are like, great, This says that I should start a membership group. So they got the what should you do? You should do a membership group. But to get the how, they're going to need to take my Better Way program. Does that make sense? So it's like this natural bridge to the course that I sell. You would make a great one-on-one, coach. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that my dog is just barking. Lola, you just gave me a heart attack. Come here. My apologies. Lola's tense. But, and so if you, take my quiz and it says that you should do a course and you're like, great. I'm so glad that somebody finally told me, should I do a course or should I do a membership or should I do one-on-one? Of course it is. But then they're left with, but how do I do that? And then what you're going to do is follow up after somebody goes through that opt-in series, and you're going to market to them the thing that solves their problem. Okay. Over deliver on your opt-ins. Over deliver. You're never going to regret doing that. And by the way, you can do like a PDF. You could do an ebook for an opt-in. I have an ebook of like prayers for entrepreneurs. You can do a video series. You can do a private podcast series. My short-term rental 4-part series on how to buy your first like VRBO or Airbnb. That's a private podcast series. And so, so there's lots of different ways that you can deliver an opt-in. We suggest if you're going to do things like a PDF or an ebook that you create it on Canva, but don't overthink this because so many people spend 6 months trying to come up with a good opt-in. And in the last 6 months, then you've lost building your email list and lost all of the sales that you could have been making over the last 6 months. So remember that B- work is good enough to get things started. B+ work is better, but B- work is good enough just to get started. You're going to want to create more opt-ins over time. You're going to want to test them, see what performs the best, and learn from it. I was just asking our team the other day. I've told you a couple of times about the short-term rental private podcast series that we have that you can get for free if you go to jenniferallwood.com/short-term rental. I said to my team just yesterday, I said, I wonder if the people that are opting in to this short-term rental, email series or podcast series, if those are like our perfect people for my mastermind. Are those the perfect people for the Better Way program? And the truth is, I don't know that they are, if that makes sense. I don't know that they're entrepreneurs in terms of like starting their own business. And yes, owning short-term rentals could be, considered a business in and of itself. We've got a totally different business name for that, et cetera. But are they the perfect people to take one of my paid programs? And I don't know that they necessarily are. So we're testing it. We're watching. We're using high roast to see when people opt in, do they ever take my program? Do they ever sign up for my mastermind? And so, we're going to use that data then to make decisions on what to continue to create and what to continue to push. Okay. So how should you use your opt-in to drive sales? Okay. So first of all, you need to create an automation that you send to people in email after they opt in. So somebody opts in, let's say for my devotional for prayers for entrepreneurs, right? So they get the link for that. I send it to their inbox, and then you need to have follow-up emails that come after that. So glad that you wanted that book of prayers. I hope that it's a blessing to you in whatever your business is. Hit reply here and let me know what kind of a business that you're in. You need to have some sort of like a follow-up series after somebody gets the freebie for you. And yes, sometimes that follow-up series can be, hey, I'm so glad that you signed up for my devotional. Clearly you're a business owner. Do you need help with your social media and email? If you do, get on the wait list for my inner circle. So you don't want to just send people your freebie and then them not hear from you again. In the year 2023, people understand that if they give you their email, you are going to be marketing to them. In fact, I will go as far as to say this. In the year 2023, if somebody gives you their email and you're not marketing to them, you're not sending them emails, they held up their end of the deal by, giving you an email that you could send things to, but you're failing them in holding up your end of the deal and sending them, additional information after the original opt-in. People know that that's why you're asking for emails. Marketers have got to remember that consumers are smarter in the year 2023 than what they were years ago. So it's not like somebody's given you their email and they don't know what's about to happen. Send more emails. Okay. I want to encourage you also to utilize your thank you page. So somebody opts in to a freebie that you have, you can use your thank you page to offer a low cost product. Like they can get an upgrade. Like, I'm so glad that you liked my devotional. If you liked my devotional, you'll probably like this. So you can, when you send them a thank you for opting in, you can mark it right there if you want to. We suggest that you're sending out at least weekly emails unless you are selling products. If you are selling products, you need to be emailing, I think, way more often than that. It's interesting because I was talking with one of the ladies in my mastermind the other day, and she was talking about how she knows that she needs to email more regularly, and she sells a product. And I said to her, when you send emails, do you get sales? And she said, I do. And I'm like, so then why aren't you just sending emails more regularly? And she's like, well, I don't want to bug people. And I'm like, it is no bother to me that Athleta emails me every single day. It is no bother to me that Eve emails me every single day without fail. I love that. I love knowing what's on sale. I love knowing what, is new, what the new colors of the season are, et cetera. There's no part of me that's like, oh my gosh, Eve is sending me an email with their cute clothes again. It's so annoying. That's not what people think when they like your product. They want to see new things that you have. They want to see what you now have on sale. They want to know what additional things you have that they maybe are unaware of. Send the emails. That's why people gave you their email in the first place. And there is no obscure number that you need to have 1,000 people on your email list before you start sending emails. No, there's not. If you've got 5 people on your email list, send them emails. If you can turn a couple of them into buyers, that's a win, right? And by the way, the first goal that we always give people, like in my inner circle, is get your email list to at least 500 people. And then if you can get your email list to 1,000, there's something mentally that kind of happens. And then if you can get your email list to 2,500, and then of course, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 from there, but get to your first 500 people. But even if you don't have 500 yet, you still need to be sending out emails. Okay. Another thing I just want to tell people, when you get people on your email list with an opt-in, so many entrepreneurs want to put on their business hat when they sit down to write out their emails. Okay. So you gave somebody something for free. Now they're on your email list. You're listening to my advice. You're sending at least a weekly email. So you send them something, but what happens is they put on their business hat and they start wording the email in such a way that it's like, it's not how they would talk. It's not like relationship building. It's cold. It's sterile. It feels robotic. And people wonder why people then don't respond to those emails or buy from them. You can't show up one way on social media like this and then show up another way in your inbox. Like, stop that. Those need to be the same. The way that I hopefully show up in email is exactly the same as what you will hear me talk like on Instagram stories. I try to make my email sound like I'm talking to each individual as a friend. Don't be afraid to type like you talk. And by the way, if you need other tips, you could always send a Voxer to somebody that's on your team and you just talk out the words for your email and they type it up. You can use ChatGPT to, hey, will you give me an email on 5 tips for people who are starting a keto diet that they can begin today? And let something like ChatGPT help you. And then you just do what we call Jenniferize it, or, Vickyize it, or McKinsey-ize it. Does that make sense? Make it sound more like you. You don't want your emails to sound like somebody on your team wrote them. You don't want it to sound like a complete stranger wrote it. And you don't want it to sound like you're being too businessy, because people don't relate to that. They just don't. Okay. And anytime you're going to launch a new product, you're going to host a workshop or a webinar or a challenge, or you're launching your coaching or whatever, you need to be sending multiple emails every single day that you're open. And I know that inevitably you may have people that unsubscribe. And listen, that's okay. Don't take it personally. Those people were never going to buy from you anyway. People get so upset. Like Jen, I sent an email every day during my last launch and I had 20 people unsubscribe. And I'm like, who cares? Those were not your people. You can't look at how many people leave you. It's the wrong focus, friends. It's like looking at the glass half empty. Focus on how many people are you adding to your list? How many people want the information that you have? Stop like obsessing over the people who you're really not for and they're really not for you. I don't mind if when I'm sending out emails about, my Better Way program, which is for coaches and consultants, if people are dropping off my email list, that's okay. If they're never going to become a coach, they're never going to be a consultant, like God bless them as they go. But I don't want to keep sending them emails because it's like dead weight. Number one, it's more expensive. Number two, and when people fall off of your email list, it actually boosts your email deliverability rate. We clean out our email list frequently. Nell will send me a Voxer and she'll be like, hey, don't freak out, but I cleared out 6,000 people today or 8,000 people today off the email list. And inevitably I like, oh my gosh, I want to throw up. But it's people who spelled their email wrong. .com instead of .com. So I don't want them to stay on my email list and I'm sending them things that are just bouncing. It's people who, have never had a transaction with us. It's people who have bad emails, invalid emails, whatever. It's people who just don't want to be on the email list anymore. They haven't opened anything from me in at least 6 months. Let them go. Clean out your list. Okay. Listen, some of you make starting an email list way harder than it needs to be. And if you're like me and you're a complete creative brain, and you're like, I just don't even know where to start. Like, I understand, Jen, what you're saying about an email list, but I don't know the tactical step 1, 2, 3 to even do that. Get a hold of BizAssist. BizAssist is my virtual assistant agency. It's at bizassistagency.com. That's B-I-Z, bizassistagency.com. They can start an email list for you, but you cannot in the year 2023, run a business just on social media. That makes you so vulnerable. I just had a friend of mine lose her access to her Instagram account with 150,000 followers. Thank God I know she's got even more than that on her email list. So she'll be just fine. But if things go sideways, and the thing is, we never think that things are going to go sideways until they do. And then we think to ourselves, why didn't I have that put into place when I should have? So in the year 2023, you've got to have an email list. If you don't know how to do it, contact bizassistagency.com. If you are looking to grow your email list and you need like 5 creative ways, I've got a freebie for you. You can go to jenniferallwood.com/email list. It's got 5 creative ways to grow your list, ways you can add more people to your email list, because there's several parts here. You need the opt-in to get people on your list. So then you got to start your list, and then you've got to actually grow your list, and you've got to actually utilize your list. Does that make sense? And a lot of people need help in all those areas. If you need help in growing, go to jenniferallwood.com/email list. All right. I hope that this was helpful. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I know that you've seen Lola pacing behind me. She's a skittish dog, guys. She's really anxious. I don't even know. Maybe just talking about email lists makes her nervous. Who even knows? But thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you again on the podcast next week. Bye-bye. We need something for Lola. Did you hear her bark? Meow. It sounds like a cat, first of all. And then she just paces. Why didn't I lock her up? You forgot to tell me to put her in the other room so that she wouldn't be here during the podcast. I don't understand how we got such a nervous dog. Pace. Anyhow, Lola, where are you at? Come here. Redeem yourself. Say hi to all the peoples. Come on, get up here. Oh, there hers is. She's a good girl. Yes, you're a little anxious, but you're a good girl. Okay. Tell Easton our work here is done. And don't lick my neck. Weird.